Welcome aboard the Galaxy's Edge podcast. My name is Walt, and wow, I blew somebody right out of the boardroom doing that. That was impressive. My name is Walt, and I have the range card that's telling us what we're shooting tonight as we talk up all things Galaxy's Edge. We are joined by an amazing group of contributors to the Galaxy's Edge community, starting on my right, the ever-present, ever-omniscient Swordfish. What's shaking, brother?
All the good stuff in the world, you know.
And rocking and rolling underneath him, we got the rookie.
Ooh,
yeah,
as always.
Right on. And our featured insider this week, Dark Ops 927, Stuntman. What's shaking?
Hoo-yah, KTF.
Welcome aboard. If you've never been on a Galaxy or have never seen a Galaxy's Edge podcast, please be advised. Make sure you check your corners, pie them around, make sure that you tap your buddy on the shoulder and feel that tap in the butt before you charge into the room, because this show is filled with spoilers. We're going to try and keep them to the minimum, but every once in a while something sneaks in and we have no choice but to shoot it, chew it, and do what Leeges do. So that being the case, if you start to hear something that kind of you haven't heard and you haven't gotten through all the media or consumed all the deliciousness that is the Galaxy's Edge, please take about 5 minutes, jump out, jump back in when you're feeling comfortable, and then hopefully we have moved on to another subject. So that being said, I grab my blunt force segue, which right now looks like a giant crutch, and I am going to say, Daniel, what's going on in Discord?
Same old Afterlife be popping off as always. We got a lot of people helping other lieges talk about guns and stuff in the blasters and bangers. There was a pretty cool discussion last night about top break revolvers and side ones and stuff like that. And yeah, there's a little bit more talk in the workout bay. People trying to get in shape for the boogaloo, all that good stuff, and yeah, just general book talk. People are finishing up Takeover if they haven't already, and they're sharing their love of the book, and yeah, it's pretty great.
Are we seeing more and more people chewing on audio in the book talk?
Chewing on audio? What do you mean?
Like, so are they more people consuming the series by audio?
I'd say a majority of the people in the Discord all do audio for the most part. There's only a few people that do Kindle or read it physically. So
right on. So that being said, where do you stand on the spelling of the current Legion commander at the end of season 1? How would you pronounce his name?
God damn.
but I know they are very disrespectful in season 2. All the leeches, that's how they feel about Chahoon. And so that's why they say Chahoon and not Choon. But
it's not Coon.
Not yet.
I hope that becomes a canon explanation. I actually hope that is. Are you kidding me?
that is the canon explanation.
That is the canon explanation.
That is beyond awesome.
Jason's like, you know what? We're gonna say it happened. The reason why there's a different thing is because of this, and everybody's like, okay, sure.
That's cool though. I'm honestly like I've made sillier canon explanations for like autocorrect messing with some of my like roleplay posts in the past. So like that to me, I'm on board with that.
Right. I thought it was a pretty neat way to what do you call it? I thought it was a pretty neat way to explain it.
Yeah, it works.
You know, I mean, at my last name, I've had butchered so many times. When I was in the military, I was in a selection course,
It's
and what is it?
It's not Robbie,
right? So I'm in this selection course, and you know it's early morning. It's the first morning after you've just gotten out of airborne school, and everybody's kind of salty and not really knowing what to expect. And the guy says my name like 3 times, right? Turns and looks and sees my name tape right on the top of my shirt, runs up to me, and he's like, "What's your goddamn name?" And I'm like, "It's," and I pronounced my name correctly, and he's like, "No, it's not. Your mother taught you wrong." I'm like, "What?" I will never forget that for as long as I live. That was a thing of brilliance and beauty. So, what kind of exercising is going on? How are people getting around the whole quarantine thing, getting their exercise in?
Ooh.
I think a lot of it. I mean, it's not quarantine approved, but I know a lot of people are trying to, just run around on the streets and stuff. Say hi to their
Sounds about
fellow
right.
friends.
That sounds about right. There's
Yeah, you're still
actually
allowed to do that.
We don't have an issue here. It's all right. Just go ahead and go work out. No issues.
Right on.
It hasn't changed at all for me. Like I've got workout stuff. I got dumbbells. I got a pull up bar, or not pull up bar. No, that's not that ain't it. I'm not that rich.
Stuntman does.
No, I don't. I'm doing what Rookie's doing, man. Dumbbells and running outside.
Dumbbells. There's a sit up bench. I do have there is a bench press, but that thing's ancient, so I just use it as a curling bar now. And honestly, the thing I've been trying to tell everybody is you can still find a route and you can run. Even if you got you got a couple blocks, you could still run, and running is probably one of the best things you could do. There was also something I saw earlier today about core workouts, things like those, like the Russian crunches or flutters or whatever. Those don't require any equipment. Maybe a yoga mat for all I could.
Kitty.
I have a Wobonki.
Chris!
I've been lifting him and throwing him on the floor all night. Bastard.
But yeah.
Bonky lifts 20 of them.
He's such a pain in the ass.
Cats can get heavy too. They can get pretty heavy, especially around that gullet, that gut that they got. Oh,
big fat kitty.
I was watching a thing today where a guy is basically raising these 2 tiger cubs so they can be reintroduced. And the thing is jumping on his back and knocking him to the floor, when before it was like a little tiny cub. It was, talk about a workout. Going from carrying this little 35-pound tiger cub in your arms to a 150-pound tiger cub that still isn't fully grown. That's a big damn cat. So that being the case, and the fact that the Discord is hopping and popping. Actually, you had a little event going on, Swordfish, where you posted up some information about sharing your computer's capacity in order to help. Go ahead.
Yeah, about that. So I'll drop you a link so you can share it around. But there's a way that you can do this where you basically help out scientists that are currently trying to break down the current coronavirus. Several ways. There's 2 projects that you can go for. Folding at home basically is folding the protein over and over again until they can basically see simulations on how they could attack it and combat it. And then the other one is Rosetta at home, which basically shows how the protein structure is created and what it looks like, so that they can try to figure out how to attack it that way as well. But I'm gonna drop 2 links for Walt to show around. But the way it works is basically you install these easy programs onto your computer, and you get signed up. And what it does is it basically sets your computer as a terminal that can use your graphics processing card and your processor to basically solve these complex equations, and basically will set up will be set up in a way where the scientist has a project. They want the simulation done. They'll break the simulation up into work units and segments, and then they'll say, okay, Stuntman, he's got a computer and he's donating his processing power. We're going to give him 3 work units of this to finish off. We're going to give me 4 whatever, and basically our computers are going to chug through those calculations and stuff, send the data back off to the scientists. It gets recompiled into one huge data set, and then they run the simulation, and they can actually see, okay, this is what it looks like when this happens and all that stuff.
You just get murdered.
And your computer gets to help with that, so that you're not using their computer processing power and whatnot. So they can now. The question I had is, so when you are connected to that folding at home and it's doing its thing, is it an instant transfer of information from your computer to the server that's doing that simulation, or is it done on your computer and then it has to get sent?
So as far as I understand it, from what I've seen, at least on the in the logs, because I look at the advanced view of it, it basically says, okay, it's ready for a work unit, and then when a work unit gets assigned to you, it gets downloaded to your computer. Your computer processes it all right then and there, and then when it finishes the process, it uploads it back to the university. So the folding at home, I forget which one they are, which university they're a part of. I know I'm a horrible person. University of based at Washington University in St. Louis. I know I probably said it wrong. And then Rosetta at home is actually run by the Berkeley University. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
The other thing is there was another. We have the OBA Cafe has a team set up, so you just need to put in our team code, and you can join, and we can see all of our points go up and see how we're affecting the process.
That's pretty cool. Nice, nicely done. Go ahead.
Your room will also get a lot hotter. So because your processor and graphics card are both running at max, performance, your room will get really hot, and you might want to crack a window. So it'll save on heating to an extent.
And hopefully a heat sinks in your computer. We're all kicking it.
Yeah, so you're not blowing up your computer.
That's all good. I'll keep a fire extinguisher handy and the Doom soundtrack playing.
Yeah, there you go. Did you guys ever see the video that somebody put together with a whole play from the first Doom side by side from the video for Dot Your Eyes for Five Finger Death Punch?
No.
Oh no.
Oh my God! I'll put a link in. It's dope. So speaking of dope, now we're going to talk into our featured insider, Stuntman. So Stuntman, who are you and what's on your wanted poster?
So I am Stuntman. Kind of not too recently joined up with the group. Started reading the first book of the Legionnaire book, and it got me hooked. I mean, the story is beyond what I thought it was going to be. It was a recommendation from another friend that does 3D printing, and he's like, hey, why don't you check out this group? And I was like, sure, why not? And boom. I mean, it was like love at first sight with this group. I mean, Sphinx really, like, he kind of showed me, like, oh my God, these guys are not shitting around. Like, they're not kidding around. Can I cuss? I mean, if I say something, I apologize.
Try and go PG-13.
PG-13
just to make our cool creators stay on level with it they got going on in the series.
Copy. But yeah, just to keep it short. I mean, do you want me to say like my actual name and all that too?
That's up to you. If you want to keep it Stuntman, we don't mind.
Yeah.
What do you do in what do you do in the real world?
So I've been in the Navy for 14 years. I'm still active duty. I am on a medical.
We try not to judge.
No, it's all good. I'm on a. Don't worry. Whatever you've heard about the Navy, it's all true, and it's worse. It's actually worse.
No, I'm not as biased as some Army guys because, like, one of the guys I served with in Iraq was a former Navy guy, and that man had a PhD in profanity. I learned so much from him. He was like my trash mouth sensei. I get goosebumps when I still think about the level of like gross profanity that could come out of his mouth. And the first time I heard him yell at somebody, I was just like, dude, teach me. And he was just like, he's like, well, let me see. Before I show you anything, let me get into what I think, let me see how you work. And he came up to me one day. He goes, not bad, but I think we can take you to that next level. I'm like, I'm yours to mold and chip away at. So, but oh my God, it was so good. And like I said, he was a pretty good soldier because he had transferred over from the Navy. He was tight. He was very, very tight. So
yeah,
like
I worked in the Army when I was in Camp Buka, Iraq in 2006. I went boot on ground. I was there for a year. I didn't even know what the hell we were going to be doing, but because they said one team was going to do helping out the Rangers and the Marines doing clearing
down in Ramadi.
Yeah, and the other group was going to go to Buka, north of Qasar, to do the detainee ops, and that's what I ended up doing, the detainee ops shit. So
shore patrol.
No, like prison, like the actual prison guard.
No. I mean your rating.
Oh,
you
no. I was on Des at the time, but
gotcha.
now I'm operations specialist.
Oh, right on.
So it's completely. It's like I'm like a fish out of water now. I work staring at radars and doing ship navigation and information crap, like secretarial work for officers. Like I hate it. I've hated it for the last 8 years, and now I'm getting out due to a back problem, and hopefully I get some compensation.
Well, military does it. Backs, knees. And then we got J.R. Hanley saying that, Buka was no joke. Yeah, he did resupply there.
Yeah. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, it's creepy. So it seems like we've stomped some of the same mud and, probably peed some of the same blood together. You got. Sorry, Rookie, I didn't mean to.
No, I just thought that was great. I've never heard that one before.
Sorry, I went there. I went to Army for a minute. I'm so sorry.
True.
I love it.
I feel overly sensitive right now.
I've seen people pee stuff other than blood, so it's okay.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm drinking these days. Yeah, I'm peeing some blood.
It's like, dude, how did that Jello come out of that tiny hole?
Well, let me show you.
Yep. So we got how you got into GE, but apparently you're obviously very involved in the Discord because you're mentioning some of the other moderators. What's your favorite book in the series, and have you read the whole series?
Negative. I only have the first book down. I've been busy with this move and just I'm getting stuff ready to process out. So I really had time to help do anything really.
So your favorite book is Legionnaire, is what you're telling us.
Correct. That's affirmative.
Right on. So who's your favorite character in Legionnaire?
So book that I got, I think it has that main Legionnaire story, and then it has the one of the Outlaws. So
okay. Oh, so you heard the audio?
Yes, I heard the audio.
So actually, you've heard the first two books.
Okay, so that's not one book. Okay, so it's 2 books then.
Yeah. Because the first book I can't show you because somebody stole it. But the second book, you can see that
copy.
You can see it back up on the shelf right over there. That's actually the second book. And,
I'll go grab my copy if you want me to.
It's up to you if you want to share it.
I got it. And we can not see your camera, right? You can be holding it up like, look, guys. And we're like, yeah, that's a nice profile picture.
So, but yeah, so you've caught the first 2 books. So in the first 2 books, who is your favorite character?
I'm torn between, the main badass bounty hunter guy, Rex, right? Tyrus.
Yep.
And one of the Leeges who. So I'm torn between 2 people. So he's that sergeant
Hold on.
gunning
There
guy.
we go.
Stay right there, you
Yes.
beautiful bastard. There
That's
it is.
right.
Look
Oh,
at that
look at
thing.
that
Beautiful.
sexy.
I love that
Yeah.
art.
And of course,
Very
Of
nice,
course.
Vanna.
of course, I have to flex that it was the signed copy. Thank you
Right.
That's
very much
why.
for this.
That's why.
That's
Majestic.
And a little bit of product placement.
Oh,
Yeah.
daddy. Oh
Right
yes.
if you haven't ordered from Black Rifle Coffee, I strongly recommend that you do.
Oh no, I do.
But anyway. All right, let's turn that off before you guys get too excited.
Oh my God. I'm getting the vapors. The vapors.
Mr.
Oh.
Beauregard, I do declare.
Oh.
So,
But yeah, favorite character, I'd say
J.R. Henley, I'll be in my bunk.
it's neck to neck, but I'm gonna give it to just the Legionnaires, like all of them, like the team, and the way they function is so realistic. It's beyond my expectations.
could almost, from the very first line, the dumpster fire line, you
Yeah,
can almost tell or almost smell that like burning tires crap and feel like you're sitting in front of a hair dryer.
the burn pits when I was in Iraq. The first thing that hit my mind was
Right.
being in that freaking middle of nowhere trash can in the desert, and just thinking like, damn, I got a year to be here.
It was crazy, absolutely crazy. So what? When you were reading it, right? What kind of took? Because like everybody seems to have a very strong reaction when they catch this first part of the series, and the first reaction is always like, "Oh my God, I loved it!" And it's usually like 99% of the time that's what we hear. What was it for you that differentiated it from other parts of the series?
So there's one
excuse me,
scene-
from other what do you call it? Not genres. Like other
Sci-fi
brands.
stories,
Yeah,
other brands.
yeah. What was it that pulled you away?
So the realism and the I don't want to say gore, more like the authenticity. So that one scene, I don't remember who it was, which one of the Leeges is, but when the Coobs are like amassing a counterattack, like they got the Legionnaires in a trap in this town, and they're coming in, and they got the two sniper scouts saying, "Hey man, they're coming! You guys got to get out of there!" And they're trying to like rescue people from the carnage in that town. I forget the names, and I apologize for not having a good enough memory for it.
That's all good.
But the scene where the one of the Legions pulls a kid out of a hole, and the kid is like dying in his arms, and he doesn't realize he wants to believe that he can still save this kid, but he knows he can't. And they get to the sled, and it's like, dude, she's dead. I was like, oh, bro.
Yeah.
They
That scene,
hit
yeah.
it. They hit it. That is better than, call it whatever you want to call it. I mean, it doesn't even need to be a sci-fi. Like that could just be a damn autobiography of what people have to deal with today.
Right.
That's actually a thing I saw a lot on Amazon reviews. They said like this could have honestly just been about the war in Iraq and Afghanistan with a sci-fi skin. But no, that scene, that was the scene where it was Chun and a couple of other guys, EXO. They hacked down the door, and then they rescue a few people that had caved in on. That scene stuck with me because it was also kind of like, it's like a lie that you tell someone else, like in the final moments. It's a lie that a number of people just sort of say like it's okay, even though it's not. It's like it's okay, like it's okay. You could let go, or it's okay. You're gonna be fine. Just go to sleep. It'll be fine when you'll wake up somewhere else.
It shows humanity. It shows humanity in the Legionnaires.
And I was actually really glad that. Not to take the spotlight, but I was glad that they took that. They had actually brought that scene back, just at least for a couple lines in Kill Team. Later on, when like it was like in the second chapter of like Kill Team, where Chun is taking the shower and he like sees like her blood is being washed off of him and all that, and I was like, yeah.
Brutal.
It's truth. It's just truth. And I mean, The majority of the time I've been in the Navy, I've been on ships, and I got to see the F-18s and the F-35s take off and bomb shit. And every time, every day that we were doing that, I was thinking like, who's the next person that's going to be caught into rubble? Like who's the next? And I'm not trying to sound like a sympathizer because I really don't give two shits about ISIS, but they're we're all people, man. We're all people. We're just some people are on the wrong side, and that sucks.
Right on. Transitioning into the spiral news for the Galaxy's Edge podcast. If you don't normally catch the show, you might realize that one of our co-hosts is missing. That would be Ingram Matt or NetherOps Matt. And he is away doing a live stream playing Doom Eternal.
Drinking Foster's.
Doom.
Drinking
Foster's.
Drinking Foster. I'm not going to say that because I can't. He'll like do some like Australian voodoo on me.
What is he going to do? Come across over here to the States?
No, he might like hack my email or something, and I don't want anybody to see those Rainbow Bright Pinterest things I've been on lately.
He'll hack your Earth tether. That's what he'll do.
Yeah.
I've got some really risque
Pineapple
pictures
belongs on pizza handling.
No, it doesn't.
If you want to benefit an organization that does really a lot of good for soldiers in Australia, soldiers, airmen, all the crews over there that keep Australia safe, Matt is doing a 24-hour stream where he is gaming, playing Doom Eternal. You can get on there, interact with him, and if you place some donations into his tip jar, he's going to take all that money and donate that to the Soldier On. What do you call it? The Soldier On charity. That being said, yes.
On that, if we can get up to 75 concurrent viewers for his stream, number one, that's getting more traffic to his stream for the charity, but he will be doing a giveaway for a copy of Doom Eternal, the full game. So
right on.
If you want a free game, pop into his channel and yeah.
Hopefully you'll win.
Yeah.
Why would you say no to something like that?
Right? First of all, it's Matt. So you just got all you gotta do is bring like Google Translate or something to translate from Australian. And then of course you got Doom Eternal and the two together are just dynamic. So why not?
Even if you have this game already.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. Actually, I watched part of his stream where he was doing a run to 1,000 deaths on like just below God mode on the old like 8-bit Doom or 64-bit Doom, and it was hysterical. He was screaming all over the room. It was funny. That being said, over here in the States, we have an organization, Mission 22. A lot of people are on lockdown now. We're all trying to make the best of what we got, and there are still a lot of Leeges, not only in harm's way across the pond, but also here in the way of this virus. Lots of National Guard and reserves being activated. It's a tough time for everybody. So if you got to talk to somebody, for God's sakes, find any of us on Discord. Find us on Facebook. Of course, on here, my name is Badger, but I'm Walt Robillard on Facebook. Track us down, talk to us. If you're having a hard time, reach out, because there's no if you hit the ultimate stop button, there's no turning the recording back on after that. So and we don't want to lose any more than we've already lost. So for God's sakes, if you got to talk to somebody, talk to us. We're always down to talk. If you need something to read or get your mind off of things, we're more than willing to loan, buy you Galaxy's Edge, right? We want to take care of the soldiers who've taken care of us and make sure that our flags keep flying. So if you're out there and you've worn a uniform and you're having a tough time, hit us up. You got something to say, Daniel?
Yeah, so somebody asked about it in the chat, so I just dropped the link in private chat, hopefully, if it sends. And then on top of that, regarding the talk to somebody, I did make an announcement, I think a week or so ago. We do
Yeah.
have a squad support channel in the Discord. It's not shown by default, so you're going to need to check into the secondary roles and then opt in if you want. But there's a whole slew of people there. I know Rookie is one of them, and I think Stuntman even said that he's willing to talk. You just tag one of us, and we will more than likely be okay with sitting down and just working through whatever you got to work through. It's all
Oh,
fine
yeah.
with us.
Hell yeah, because not from day one in the military do you ever work alone. So that's a stuff for like Hollywood. They're in for all that crap. We're all for the buddy teams around here. Speaking of buddy teams, one of the best buddy teams I think around that I think would make more than it's an amazing like buddy cop movie or something like that is Tyrus Rex and that damn Nubarian gunner bot. Oh my god.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that fucking thing.
Bed
Can I-
nights.
Can I tell you that there is nothing better in the universe than a motivated bounty hunter and a bot that wants to help him blow everything to smithereens? It is just fantastic, and I love it to death. And I think the crew that Tyrus Rex has been assembling through the Contracts and Terminations series, beside the main series of Galaxy's Edge, is fantastic. What do you guys think about this artwork?
It looks
Oh.
fantastic.
Sexy.
I love it.
I know one other person that said they want that on their cell phone for a background.
Right? Well, I'm sure we can cut something together. Did you guys see the other covers for the Contracts and Terminations? So
All
yeah.
the prototype pictures that were on
Requiem from
the
Medusa and
insider page.
well, no, not just for this one, but like for the other books in the series.
I've seen some of the art.
I actually used Requiem for Medusa as reference for Titanfall fan art.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll post that in fan art. But yeah, that was like just because it was so funny. If you were to Google the Holo pilot from Titanfall 2, you'd be like, yeah, it's Tyrus Rex. But yeah, it's I love it. I actually love that style. I love that. Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like whoever that artist was that did the old Metal Gear Solid artwork. You know what I'm talking about? Like for MGS1, for
exactly.
the PS1. Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, this is some sexy artwork, and just really, really cool to see it come out. So, of course, Banshee's Last Scream was a short story that appeared in Empire's Ascendant, which is an anthology about space opera out right now. Obviously, Rookie, you said you've read it, and then Stuntman, you have not yet.
I have not actually.
Okay.
Well, the thing was, you could spoil it, but like the thing is, like if you're gonna spoil it for the stream, but the thing was, I skipped all the other stuff that was in. I feel shitty for saying this, but I skipped all the other stories right to Banshee's Last Scream. Then I started reading it. I got past literally just the first part where there's the one Leej talking to some Navy dude, and then but then we got a call, and I was like, God, mother. All right, let's go. Let's do this thing we call work.
Right.
And that was it.
Yeah, so I not really want to spoil it because this is the show that goes out to pretty much everybody. So, and only really the insiders and anybody who's bought or checked out the Empire's Ascendant on Kindle Unlimited has probably checked out the story. So the basic premise is, you got this bounty hunter who's very, very, very prolific, and he's very smart because he has periods of time where he kind of goes dormant, right? So he just kind of hides from everybody and makes sure that he's not around. So kind of like the heat dies down for a little while. And he's about to hit one of those times when two of his oldest friends call him up and say, "We have an issue. We need your help." And at that point, does he go for it? Does he hang back and say, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, the heat's too heavy. You guys got to do it yourself." So, and then, he has to deal with the consequences of what happens and what he's of that decision. So, it's a really neat story, especially for a short story. To have a short story that wraps up this neat and this clean, it's just really, really neat to see what they're going to see that tie up really, really nice. But of course, you get to see the rampant maliciousness that this guy is capable of as a bounty hunter. Him just slapping and slamming everything in his path until he gets what he's kind of like a tiger. If you leave him alone, he's like any other cat. He's gonna curl up in a ball in a corner, and he's gonna be cool, and he's not gonna do anything. If you cross into his territory or you mess with something that belongs to him, like a friend, he's gonna come at you, and he's going to try and eat you and anything that's in front of you. It's almost like it's not even like a man versus man anymore. It's almost like a man versus nature. But nature has rules he has to live by. It's really, really neat. Daniel, did you read it?
No, I'm waiting for it. I'm
Waiting for it to go audio.
You sound so sad.
I am, because it's like it means that it's more Galaxy Edge content that I get to enjoy. I mean, I've caught up with everything audio book wise, so I'm just kind of like, next one, please.
Yeah.
But because
it's pretty rich.
We were talking about the art, and this is actually made by Yoji Shinkawa. And I know the stuntman actually
that right
enjoys it.
there. Oh, look at that.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his art. He also did art for the Front Mission game that just came out, and a bunch of other games.
I know stuntman likes his mechs.
I am a mecha guy. As you can see in my little profile picture. Oh, you did ask me what it was. I didn't get to tell you what the picture on my thing was.
Go for it.
That's an atlas.
So I took a Titanfall Atlas mech 3D model, and I modified it just slightly to fit the art for a mech RPG game called Lancer. I'm not trying to promote that game, but I do custom 3D mecha work. So,
oh wow,
there's my plug in for anybody that's interested in that stuff.
Nice.
I am the guy.
Right on. Well, if anybody's interested and they want to go check out Banshee's Last Scream, like I said, it's a really great story. And even if you haven't read the other Contracts and Terminations stories, this is actually pretty cool because it's kind of like a self-contained thing where if you haven't read the other ones, you'll be fine. If you haven't read any Galaxy's Edge, you'll still be fine. It's just a really, really cool story. And I think it really shows how the main character of that bounty hunter struggles with his humanity, especially when he's got so much else to struggle with. So one of the things I liked about the story is they focus on two of the characters that are very popular in Galaxy's Edge in one form or another. That would be Chappie and Doc. And you hear those guys throughout the series come in and out, whether through conversation or whether they're just, being small bits of the story. And that kind of got me thinking about secondary characters in Galaxy's Edge, because Galaxy's Edge, the Legionnaires themselves are all wild and rich. When you hear Exo, when you hear 20s, when you hear Masters, when you hear Chun and all of these great Legionnaires,
Silence, Swordfish.
Right. You hear these names and you immediately get a sense of who they are and what they're capable of through their contributions in the story. But there are other characters that are also as memorable, but they don't get as big a chunk. It's more like they're on the side there. Because Galaxy's Edge is very rich. Like we were saying before, there's a lot to it. So much character development, so many characters, so many different things. It's not just dudes in armor shooting shit. There's a whole cast of characters that come in and out. So that being said, let's start with Daniel. Favorite secondary character?
Let me think. I would have to go with Well, I mean, Nick Cole keeps killing all my favorite characters, even though they're secondary. So thank you very much, buddy.
It's all Nick's fault.
It is. I'm gonna have to say off the top of my head, I like Garrett. I think he's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the slicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty neat.
Yeah. Skriz, of course. I mean,
Oh.
who doesn't love Skriz?
Oh my God. Yeah,
He-
he's
he-
sitting
he
right
just
next to
wants
me.
Yeah,
trying
he
to
just wants
murder.
to get the pets. That's all.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit about any other humans. He's just like, oh, but Prisma, she gives me pets.
Yeah.
I love that scene too. It's just like, he's just sitting there doing his own thing, and then she's just like, and he's just like,
Fine.
okay, all right, you may proceed. Yes.
I'll murder you later. I mean, fantastic. Skriz, I love hearing the fact that Jason's been trying to kill him ever since he showed up.
He's just not a cat person. That's all.
No, apparently not. But I just think it's awesome that he's just such a fan favorite that everybody's just like, oh yeah, it's I can't wait till Skriz shows up again, and it's like, wait, what? What did you guys think of KRC?
You're not going to ask the other guys?
No, I'm going to give me a little. I'm getting there. What did you guys think of KRS-88, aka Crash, versus Skriz? Because both of them serve a similar purpose. They're both combat monkeys.
I like that term so much.
I do what I can.
I mean, yeah. KRS-88. I remember when I was trying to get a couple of friends into Galaxy's Edge. One of which was successful. The other is questionable still. I don't know. He may be secretly reading it on his own. I'm not sure. But I had actually read. I had a couple of drinks in me, and I had read the end of Tin Man out loud to them. Just like the hold my hands up part from there and onward, and it didn't really hit me until then. I realized like this guy Crash is probably one of the most human characters in the entire Galaxy's Edge series. Like that part when they take him off the racks at the end, and I'm getting into spoiler territory, but
yeah, don't spoil it.
But it was just what he says at the end was just one of those like most hard hitting kind of like this is what I want. Like I don't want this anymore. And I just sat there and thought like, oh my God, this is something he's earned. Let's let him have it. And but at the end, then we see him in like Outlaws, and then we see him from Outlaws and onward, and he's still that new person that he wants to be. But you're just like, this is great. Like he's just a ground pounder. He's just a really, in a way, he's like that gentle giant, but he's like this big softy. But he's a big softy that carries a nuclear warhead, essentially, and I'm okay with that.
So regarding KRS-88, one of the funny things that I made a mistake of was I thought KRS-88 looked like a news bot from Bulletstorm, just like with bigger treads. I dropped a picture link for you, Walt. But yeah, with bigger treads and like fucking hidden guns. So it's just like, that's just kind of how I pictured him for a bit, as just like, oh, he's just a butler trash can, He's, oh, hello, miss. And then it's just like, all of a sudden he goes into warbot mode and just fuck that.
Yes. I liked him. I liked him. He's like, he reminds me of the IG-88 robot character from Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think maybe that was where the 88 comes from. And I don't know if anybody here watched the Mandalorian show, but how he was adopted as a caretaker robot in that series. I'm like, they had to have stolen that from Galaxy's Edge, because I know Galaxy's Edge came out before that. But yeah, no, I like his character. I like how he's written. It's got that, like what you're saying, a gentle giant type character. It's not written like just some cartoony I'm a robot guy. So I like it. I like the charm. He brings some charm to it.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest, Dan. That's exactly what I thought. That's what he looked like when I was reading the book, and then I was like, and then when I saw like some of the cover art, I was like, oh, never mind. He's actually bipedal. He's more like he's more Iron Giant than he is Wally. Got it.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought he looked like a round Wally.
Yeah, that's a thing. But I mean, we had that look of the cover on Tin Man. So I mean, as far as like him looking like a like a round trash bot or a news bot, early on in the series, if you checked out that story, you actually got a chance to check out what he was supposed to look like. How about it, Stuntman? Favorite character, a secondary character in the series?
The little girl that I'm assuming that's Lena, like as a little kid, the one that Tyrus rescued.
No, that's
Prisma.
No?
That's Prisma.
Okay,
Prisma.
Okay, Prisma. I like her. I like the little. She's like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I have a daughter now, and I want to see her be a little badass. But she's a little badass. I mean, she's suffered, and that was another scene that I was like, holy crap, where he when he rescues her and he sees the carnage, and he's like, he notices that she's not quite there, and he's been through so much crap that he has to tone it. He's like, tone it back, Rex, tone it back, tone it down.
Yeah.
Like, you just killed a bunch of dudes. This person doesn't need you to be a killer, it needs you to be a person. So that's another great character, side character. I think that character needs to, because I haven't read the other books yet, but I have high hopes. I'm assuming that she grows to be her own awesome character because of how she was able to feed off of Rex's character, and they just have that synergy. It's amazing. It's amazing work.
Yeah, she develops pretty significantly later on in the series. So you keep reading, and you will be pleasantly surprised.
Hell yes.
So that being said, you also mentioned another character,
Lena.
So Lena, and Lena is the
Princess.
the princess from a planet where everybody is either a prince or a princess.
That's not who I was talking about.
the Twi'lek, not Twi'lek.
Yes.
I just noticed this. Wraith's hand looks a little funky.
Down below.
Yeah.
I think that hand was supposed to be hidden behind Lena's hips. That's just me.
that would
makes
explain
more
a lot.
sense with that grip,
That's just me.
And see how it looks like he's got like his hand is suffering from pressure, like he's pressing against something.
Yep.
So maybe
don't take that too much to heart. I've just been in the fan art community for way too long.
JR is just like Wraith is using the crux.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think she develops as a very interesting character in Galaxy's Edge, because she, where everybody else is very quick to pull a blaster or just throw down waves of fire at the enemy, she is very much like, no, there's been enough death. And I think it's a really nice counterbalance to everybody who's just like, every time there's a bump or a grind on a ship hull, everybody just starts yanking weapons and pulling them out. So, but yeah, I thought she's a nice addition to the crew. How about it, Rookie? What's your favorite secondary character?
Oh man, well, it's like you, as we're on the topic of Lena, I would have to say, I mean, not Lena, but Lena does deserve a standing ovation just for two notable scenes for me were like in Outlaws when she's having a talk with Wraith and she says like, I'm thinking about leaving, and then he kind of wants her to stay, and she's like, would your life be harder if I left? And he said yes. And I was like, I mean, that's something almost every man or woman can really relate to, wanting someone to stay in their lives. And that was a genuine, real scene. Also, like you were saying, how she's not a pacifist, but like she's someone who doesn't like violence. But she's not afraid either. Like book 9 especially shows her, like, right in the ending battle, she actually plays a role, and that was one of my favorite scenes ever, where it's just she shows up out of nowhere and helps out, not in a KTF kind of way, but in like a sort of like a life-saving fashion. And I thought that was great. But God, there's so many, and I'm gonna just put this out there again. A lot of my favorite characters end up dying. Not just in this series, but I had the same conversation with people who were like, "Hey, did you catch The Walking Dead?" And I was like, "Yeah, Herschel was my favorite character." And he goes like, "Hey, how'd that work out for you?" I'm like, "Doesn't matter. He served his purpose. He did what he had to."
You were a fan of Hudson and Aliens, weren't you?
Yes. I mean, everybody was. Come on now. But Hicks steals it, just because, especially in the director's cut, that's like, "It's Dwayne. My name's Dwayne." And, that scene. And then she's like, "Ellen," and he just goes, "Don't be gone long, Ellen." I'm like, "You smooth son of a."
Oh yeah,
But
Mr. Schmoot.
But
Yeah, game over, man.
But to put down to favorite side characters, I got to say Huzu, just because I've always liked that guy that got separated, and who was still just like, you remember Grimesy from Black Hawk Down?
Oh God!
And then he ends up buddy with all the Deltas. That was kind of Huzu, except like Huzu's role was at its apex the best when McRaven comes in and tells him, and he's like, "If you don't think you can do this," he's like, "You tell me. You let me know right now. I'll go do it myself. That's fine." And it's like, no judgment, no matter what. And then, but he heads out there. He does what he has to, and then that's the end of his story for him right there. And to me, that was one of the most hardest hitting things ever. Just picturing him hunched over the stock of the pig, just going like, "I did this. It's like, I did what I had to. I'm good. It's over now."
Right on.
Yeah.
Yep. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. But I mean, that's what makes Galaxy's Edge so fantastic, is that you feel like you have a connection with these characters, and there's real stakes, because if they get shot, that's it. After the first book, there's a very popular character who does not make it. And you heard fans in like some of the discussion groups, insider group on the Facebook and stuff like that. And they were vocal, like, no, this can't be right.
That's how it is, though.
Yeah. So, you mentioned a personal fan favorite, Sergeant Major Mac Raven. That dude is just ear and eye candy anytime he's on the screen. Now? Obviously, Rookie.
I love the accent.
Oh,
You've heard him. Swordfish, you've heard him. Stuntman, you haven't gotten there quite yet. But what did you guys think of McRaven?
Oh man, I liked when they finally had a face reveal for him, and I just got this Doc Holliday kind of like picture in my head, and I was like, because originally I'm like, I can't get because I read it first before I listened to it on Audible, and I was just like, I can't get an accent on this guy. I'm trying really hard, I just can't do it. And then finally they do the face reveal at the end, how they talk about like the white mustache and the long white hair, like a gunfighter of old, and I was like, Doc Holliday. That's what I should have been thinking this whole time.
Oh, I was thinking Ginger. like a big bushy red beard and like.
So Captain Owens Part 2.
Yeah.
Captain Owens is great uncle.
Yeah, basically.
Well, Owens was like, I mean, back in the day, I mean, that dude just never took off his sunglasses and his beard. You know?
Basically me when I'm on shift, but that's just because. Oh my God! I've never seen this. I have not seen this yet.
Yep, it's going to be coming out in April.
Was this like in the insider group or something at any point?
Only.
This is.
Yep.
Oh my God! This is awesome.
Very cool.
That's.
This is one of the covers they were wrestling with when they were talking about Forget Nothing.
Jesus, that is damn cool.
Show the other one. Show the Broxton.
Oh yeah, I got the Broxton right here. So somewhere. Oh, here we go.
And I love the smirk she has.
And Dean Broxton. Yep.
That's another cover art that I use as reference yet again. Yes.
Look at that. Look at that
damn
smirk
beautiful.
she has. She's just
so yeah, I thought the great thing about Forget Nothing wasn't just Andine's story, because we get that origin story for her, and if you're an Audible listener, this will be an Audible original coming out very soon. But I think the great thing about this was that the writer they teamed up with to put this together is a former Marine and is still living the life of behind the scenes. But the thing is, nailed that Marine subculture like perfectly to the effect of like one of the most memorable characters in there is a gunnery sergeant named O'Neill, and he is just as funny as McRaven was. So like, when he starts dressing down a Marine for not doing the right thing, you're just like, dear Lord, you heard the drill sergeant Lee Emery from Full Metal Jacket, in your head, but not as terse. You know what I mean? He didn't have that like, he was more like stern and direct and just funny, and that's what you wanted out of a good NCO, especially at that level, a gunnery sergeant. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's usually responsible for large groups of people and making sure that they're making because the gunnery sergeant for a line company is kind of like an operations sergeant in an army company. And then in special units, specially tasked units for the Marine Corps, they could be put in a more upfront position. So this is a guy that doesn't have to interact with the particular troops every day, but like they know he's there. They feel his presence. And anytime Gunny O'Neill was on the show, or on that in that story, you felt him, and then like after he left the scene, you still felt him there. So I thought as a secondary character, he was definitely pretty cool. And then of course, you do see how the Marines of the Galaxy's Edge interact with a kill team in the story, and that's why you have a picture of Owens, because they've crossed paths. So very, very, very cool story, and very full of really, really neat secondary characters. So,
what is it like? 2 weeks? 1 week before it drops?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's soon. Yeah, because it's going to be an Audible original. So, if you're an Audible subscriber, the great thing is you won't have to use a credit to listen to it. It's one of the originals, so you get your credit for the month, and then you get 2 Audible originals that you can listen to. And if you want, that can be one of them.
And this is actually one of those Audible originals that you get that is marginally good.
Yeah.
I can
really
attest to that.
Yeah, it's really, really good. A lot of fun. Great story. And I think I'm stoked to see the next iteration of the series, just because, at the end of this, we have some really incredible news that kind of gives you some, or you hope will give you some insight into a certain military force and why they only select certain individuals for service. So I thought it was pretty cool. So as we're winding down toward the end of the hour, final thoughts, starting with Daniel.
I'm excited about Forget Nothing. I can't wait for it to drop. Any news on when Banshee's Last Scream is getting its Audible?
I'm not, but I know it's going to be probably after Forget Nothing. So it should be soon, because I mean they have it all set. I think they need somebody to read it.
Okay, well, if you could please get on reading that for us, and
Yeah.
your fantastic accent. You know, maybe you can even throw in an Italian character. You know. Go
Oh
back
no,
to
you don't
roots.
want me to do that. That's like 3 shades
I
of
mean,
my cousin Vinny.
we could see you speak with your hands.
No, usually I speak with the dog. He's sitting there somewhere. There we go.
No,
Yeah, he's pooped.
But yeah, just those 2 books is what I'm excited about, and of course Savage Wars 2, because I think that also drops.
Oh my god,
next month.
that whole series is so good, so good, and the ending of Savage Wars 3 is just like if you thought Tin Man came in with a ninja cutting onions under your face. I mean, this is just like Tear City at the end. I'm sitting there and and it was during my lunch break, and I'm like, I'll finish the end of this on my lunch break. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading it, and one of my guys comes in and he's like, hey, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, you can come back to work. I'm like, yeah, I'll be right there. He's like, you okay? I'm like, I got allergies. So, yeah, it was something. But yeah, so good. So if you're not checking out Stephen Lang's performance on Savage 1, and you're not checking out some of these great titles, please go find them, snag them, get them.
And if you like Savage Wars being read by Stephen Lang, please go and give a positive review on the Amazon page for it, because people are review bombing it because they don't like it because it's not RC bracing it or reading it. But let's support, the good narrators, and let's give it a good review.
I was just saying, I'm like, I knew I heard a cat burble.
He's such an ass.
I got two of them in this household.
Rookie, you're up, man.
Oh boy.
Final thoughts.
Well, like you said, forget nothing. I'm excited about that. Most of the stuff that I've been seeing has been in the community lately, because I feel like I'm all caught up on the stuff that's been released. But I have been trying to read Savage Wars ahead now that I've finished that on Audible. And Savage Wars 1 was fantastic, and it ended in a way, again, I won't spoil anything, but it ended in a way that I didn't expect, but was also very good. That actually meant something. It had a solid cast of characters, some of which I hope that I get to see again. Others that I kind of hope, I'm just hoping that they get good endings in a way. It's like, you got characters in there that you just didn't expect, like the guy who invented H8. And I'm just like, okay, he's actually not what I was expecting him to be, though. And but I love him.
I thought that was funny too.
It's great.
But don't forget to do another one, babe.
Do another one, babe. Yes, man.
Oh, brilliant.
But yeah, no, most of the stuff I've been seeing has been in the community, and after Savage Wars 1, I know that RP's been on RP and fan fiction has been on an uptick. I've been trying to help Templar write the Vanguard memoirs, and that has probably been a major motivator. It's actually really cool to see people start writing. I'm very happy with that. I like seeing people write based off of a series that they like. That's what got me into writing years ago with Halo, and seeing Galaxy's Edge do that with other people, get them on their own path, is really cool. As far as the state of things right now, though, I'm re-listening to Takeover, and if we're talking now until season 2, I'm just re-listening to Takeover. I'm picking up on stuff that I might have missed, and again, it just keeps on getting me more and more excited for season 2. Oh my god, Carter, yes. Oh my god, I love that artwork. That was, at least for a while, that was on my Xbox background up until Sam's story came out for Metro, and I had to change up my background. But
we don't judge.
Yeah, but Carter is Carter and the whole gang are probably my favorite out of that whole thing. And honestly, I hope to see more of them with not Savage Wars, but season 2. And I hope to hear Ray Porter pronounce Chun properly.
Either that or mispronounce it and keep the joke going. Damn straight. The I thought Takeover was great just because of the fact of when it originally came out, it was coming out serialized, and it was just brilliant listening to it that way because I was getting it as an insider, so I was getting it directly as Kindle files, loading them on my phone, and then listening to it while I was taking my 70-pound chainsaw for a walk. So it was pretty wild. And for those who don't know, if you've read Contracts and Terminations, he's in it. So
Very cool.
Yes. Although right now I don't know what he's doing. I think he's on his charging station. So we just want to point out that if you like all these stories and you love Galaxy's Edge, go over to Amazon. Make sure you leave a review for all the books that you've read. Make sure you pick up all the next stuff when it hits and when it drops. Tell your friends, because the more you guys get into this and the more we support the authors, the more stories we're going to get. And that's just the way that this works. So
and Stuntman's going to catch up with us so that he can now comment on what he's excited about.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited about all of it. Everything. It's all cool stuff. I love the art and love the stories. I love what everyone's saying on the Discords, and it's an honor to be here and have you guys pumping me up for more.
Hell yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit of what's on your wanted poster and sharing all the good love and good vibes that the community has, because just aside from the books and all the great stories and stuff like that, Galaxy's Edge has assembled a really great community of people and apparently a really great really great really...
I do the same thing with my cat. I throw her over my shoulder and I just walk around and she's just
damn dog is laying down on a job. He's supposed to be chasing these things away from me right now. But I mean, Galaxy's Edge has created a really amazing community of not just people on the Discord, but also a Facebook group of insiders, and then the Facebook group for the fan club. And there's a lot of good people who are talking to each other and sharing the series. But not only that, but sharing their own experiences and why this series really means a lot to everybody. So if that's important to you, please go out and support the authors, support the series, and we'll get more as we go forward. My name is Walt. This has been Galaxy's Edge, the regular podcast. I believe it's next week. We see the Insiders Only podcast. So if you are an insider, we will be back for another Dark Ops briefing. And then after that, we will go back to a regular Galaxy's Edge podcast the week after, and then a break after that. Is that correct, Daniel?
That's absolutely correct.
Oh, God, I was guessing. I'm so happy I was right. Rookie, Stuntman.
All I do is keep him on schedule.
Rookie and Stuntman, thank you very much for coming out and sharing some of the Edge with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having us.
All day.
All right. And Daniel, thank you for so much for the hard work that you do both on the Discord and teaming up with Matt and keeping things hopping and popping the way you do. You do amazing job, and we really appreciate it.
Appreciate the thanks.
Absolutely. This has been Galaxy's Edge podcast, and like a smoke grenade, we're popped and out. And there's a weird thing as we,